My father, Le Bijou, 1922, 7x50 stick. Stay tuned. Welcome to Cigar Perspective. I am David, as you know, and today I'm lucky enough to be joined by my girlfriend Brooke, and we are going to be smoking the My Father, Le Bijou, 1922 Churchill, which is a 7x50 stick with the Ecuador Habano Oscuro wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. So let's get it cut up, introduce the flame, and see how it develops.
It smells like burning.
I'm going to give it a little cut and then give it.
I'm going to smell it.
I think that the aroma is more chocolate and earthy. I do see what you mean with that little barnyard aroma.
I haven't had this in like 6 months, probably.
Yeah, it's been a while. So what brings you to us today, Brooke?
Visiting you.
Oh.
Off of work.
Nice.
Finally.
So right away it's really rich. There's definitely chocolate and earth, maybe a slight leather, but it's just really rich, I think, in the beginning. Nice open draw, real easy, good amount of smoke. So with this cigar too, the price point is going to be around $10.99 to probably $14.99 depending on where you pick it up at a retail store or online. So it's pretty affordable. It is worth the price for the cigar. But let's see how it develops and see if it's worth you guys picking it up or not. How's it starting off for you? Open up for you?
Oh yeah.
Good drop?
That classic My Father taste, I think.
It is a good cigar. It's starting off really good.
Earthy, leathery.
Are you getting that
dark
like
espresso.
rich, that really rich? To me, that's just like, yeah, that espresso, yeah, for sure. No spice or pepper or anything like that in it yet. But, so you work in the medical field and you smoke cigars and do Instagram influencing for fun?
Yeah, I've been smoking cigars for over 2 years because of you.
Mm-hmm.
You introduced me to cigars. Acid Cuba. No. Blondie.
Yeah.
With a lavender latte. That was my first cigar. But
nice.
I've always been into photography, and I started taking pictures of my cigars, sitting out when I do hikes and everything, and got a good following on that. brookenicolesmokes on Instagram.
Yeah, go follow her. She takes lots of good pictures.
I just like to capture the beauty of a cigar.
Mm-hmm. So what's it been like? What's your cigar experience been like? Like when you go to lounges and when you talk to people about cigars?
Well, I'm a woman.
Right. Do you feel like you're overall treated the same, or is there, you know, a lot of times it is all eyes on you when we go to lounges and things. Do you feel that too, or?
Well, yeah, you can plainly see it too. Most men don't assume that you know anything about cigars when you go to a lounge. They tend to stick you towards the infused cigars. They ask you who you're buying it for, your dad, your husband, your boyfriend.
Right.
a lot of the times I know more than they do about
Yeah.
cigars.
You know more than me a lot of times. You're really good with the cigar knowledge.
But I don't know, I just kind of put that on the back burner and do my own thing. Rarely ever do I ask for anybody's help when I go to a humidor, unless I'm looking for something specific.
Right.
But, you know, got a woman coming into a cigar lounge. You don't see that every day. That's why we need more women smoking cigars.
Yeah.
Quit the cigarettes, girls.
Yep, you heard it. Put the cigarettes down, ladies. Grab a good cigar.
This is what helped me quit smoking.
This one's starting off really good. It's
Oh, yeah.
holding those first notes. Definitely chocolatey, rich, open draw. The burn, I don't want to say it's a razor sharp burn, but it's pretty good overall, I'd say. Maybe it might need a
Pretty
touch
even.
up eventually if it doesn't, but it should be good. So when you're on Instagram or other social media sites, do you ever get, what kind of requests do you get? Do you ever get any odd requests or?
I've been asked to find the biggest gauge cigar and smoke that for someone, and they'd pay me. I didn't take them up on that offer, although it would have been free easy money. But
The biggest gauge cigar. So like 80 to 100 gauge?
it was that La Bamba.
I think that was an 80 gauge.
Yeah, 601.
It's a pretty big cigar
I
overall.
still have yet to smoke it. My brother gave it to me. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, and then also like taking seductive pictures with my breast out and all that, and that's not me. I don't knock like the girls that do it, but
Right.
I'm not there to get the likes or anything. I just enjoy cigars and the family that.
Well, and right, and like your Instagram definitely is more catered towards the cigar and the quality cigars with quality photos, and not so much. You're not trying to sell sex with cigars, like
Right.
so
Well, and I'll
often
take
you
pictures
see,
here and there, you know, that are a little bit more showy, if you want to say, but
like a little cleavage or something,
Right.
but nothing too extreme, like
that's just not me.
right.
I
And that's
fell
okay.
in love with cigars. Like, look at them; they're beautiful. Like everything about it, production, like it takes time. It's all a labor of love,
Right.
and
There's a lot that goes into cigars.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I never ever thought that I'd be smoking cigars. Like I thought they were disgusting at first, and then tried it, and it was like a warm hug. It was like,
Yeah,
wow, this
yeah.
is so good. It's exciting. It's like a whole new world. And I only smoked infused for like a month and a half, 2. And I was like, okay, I gotta be pussyfooting around cigars. I gotta try something else. But it's crazy that cigars can connect you to everywhere around the world.
Right.
Like I talk to people in Brazil all the time. Like it's just awesome. The people that you meet. It's a very tight-knit community on Instagram, especially. Sisters of the Leaf, Brothers of the Leaf. Like
For sure.
you meet some interesting people.
Do you like? Does it ever make you feel like you're an outlier or like the outside when men make weird requests to you on social media or in person, or is that uncomfortable for you?
I'm not an uncomfortable person. I say how it is. Do I disrespect you? No. Like that's what I usually say. Be respectful of me, and I'll be respectful of you.
Right.
I know what a lot of it caters to, especially with women smoking cigars and the models and even like ads for cigars and stuff. It's usually a model who doesn't know how to smoke a cigar, but that's what people expect. So
Right. And it's unfortunate that it is that way, but if you do go to lounges, it is 98% men. It is a very male-dominated environment. But how's your cigar? I'm actually getting pretty good into mine here. open. It's still really open. The burn is actually catching up a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna have to touch it up at all. That looks pretty good.
I feel like that leather is a little bit kind of going away from me a little bit. It's more sweet earth right now.
Well, one thing that initial like intense richness from here to here has definitely lightened up a little bit. It's not that.
Look
same,
at yours. You
like,
smoke a lot faster than me.
We're about the same. Not much faster. I do smoke a little faster, but that's all right. But the body's definitely medium so far. It will likely develop into a fuller body, but initially it's medium body.
Yeah.
This cigar actually did get a 97 rating as well by Cigar Aficionado. So it does have...
What was that, 2018, I think?
I do believe so. I can't say 100% on that, but it does have a strong rating with it, and it's definitely a highly recommended stick.
This is a great My Father. Like, My Father is awesome, but this is always a good go-to.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be at least 6 months since I've had this thing.
So, back with the social media stuff, do you feel like you have ever been not given an opportunity because you're not willing to do certain things on social media, as far as like using sex to sell cigars and things of that nature? Or do you feel overall companies have treated you completely fairly, just like everybody else would, you would think?
Well, I think that people tend to favor those other pages that are more sexual, like that. I don't know. I just know what I like to offer, and I mean, I've had companies stop giving me free cigars and stuff like that because I don't tend to take a lot of pictures of me. I hate putting pictures of me on there. I hate it.
So did they say it was directly because you weren't putting pictures of you, or is it just that's what you felt?
I felt that. I have felt that way. I have. That's just because I was taking pictures for a long time, and more pictures of me get more likes, get more following, get reposted more. But my nature photos don't as much, and I honestly like my nature photos better than pictures of me any day. Like,
right. I understand that.
I don't know. It's a tough industry to try to focus on and grow, especially if you feel like you do. Like, I don't want to take those type of photos.
Right. And I definitely understand that. Not everybody does want to put themselves out there.
But I'm just gonna keep doing what I do.
I'm gonna purge this cigar real quick.
Okay. Have you talked about that? But I'm not here to like impress anyone with my photos or my looks or anything, obviously. But I just want to be.
You understand the quality and the craftsmanship, the hard work, and what a cigar represents. That's
right.
I think is where you're coming from with it. You're not feeling like you need to take your clothes off or be overly sexy to sell a cigar for somebody. And they do sell themselves. They are good. Cigars are good. If you're a cigar lover, you don't need that stuff to buy a cigar. You appreciate what the cigars are and the quality and workmanship that goes into them.
And that's what it's all about.
So I am almost through the first third here. How's yours looking? Almost there? So the biggest thing through the first third, I think, is that initial richness. While it's still slightly rich, is not as intense as it was right away. And there's still chocolate and earth and a little bit of leather. But for me, the richness is fading out. And then, how about you? What are you getting so far?
More espresso, dark chocolate.
You pick up on that espresso really well. I don't so much pick up on that coffee.
But I'm drinking a latte.
Right.
I'm drinking a chai tea latte with it. It's amazing.
Dirty chai.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So you do, okay. So you're
Here's my barista. He actually makes good lattes. But yeah, I'm getting definitely espresso. And that's the thing too though, like we should be drinking water.
Right.
Water is the best thing to drink with cigars because then you hit more of those different notes. Your palate isn't interfered with something else.
Right, right. So through the first third, if you had to give this cigar a rating, where would you put it? Would you recommend it? And then what would you say it is out of 10 through the first third here?
Out of 10?
Yeah.
I would say an 8.
Me too. I would say it's definitely starting off with very strong notes. Tastes really good.
It's really good.
Are you getting like any like, I feel like there's like a subtle creaminess that I'm getting in there too. Like very subtle. The smoke. It's because of it's the way the smoke is, I think, and it's creating a little creamy on like subtle.
Especially on the retrohale. I get the creaminess.
So we're gonna go ahead and take a few minute break, and we'll be back around the halfway point and see how it develops from there. Welcome back. We are at the halfway point. The cigar the richness is definitely fading out at the halfway point, but a lot of the notes have stayed the same. So there's still the leather, and chocolate is still there a little bit, and earth is definitely still there. How's it? What do you think?
I agree. You said it basically right on the nail.
Because my draw is still very open. The burn is still very good too. It's really burning nicely. It's not razor sharp, but you're not going to have any issues with it.
You're a little bit farther than me. But that's common. It's just so smooth though.
It is very smooth. It's nice.
And I feel like it still has that signature my father. Garcia.
Yeah.
I just have that.
I actually just now am starting to pick up pepper after the halfway point here. It is starting to pick up a spiced peppery note. It's black pepper. I can definitely taste it.
I'm gonna ash this before I ash it all over me.
But the draw is so open. It's so nice of a draw. You just get so much nice smoke when you pull back on it.
Well, and this cigar is like good with everything, I think almost. Like
everything?
Well, beer, a good Merlot. That it would be really good with a Merlot if you like wine. Dirty chai lattes. Like you can pair it with a lot of different things.
Right. So so I know that you also work in the medical field doing dialysis, and I would imagine that gets pretty crazy with everything going on in the world right now with the pandemic and things. What's your typical day like doing dialysis? Are you at high risk at dialysis, or take us through just your day and your protection, your protective equipment that you use in the day?
Well, anybody working in healthcare right now is technically at high risk.
Right.
My dialysis center, we see 32 patients a day to dialyze 3 to 4 times a week. So they can't just not come to the clinic to get dialyzed because we're keeping them alive. They're obviously in kidney failure. Right. They're waiting for a kidney. They need this far more than anything. If we don't.
Well, right, and with you, I feel like part of your thing too is like you're more high risk because of your lungs and your breathing.
As I'm smoking a cigar.
Well, right, but do you feel, that's why I'm just curious how high risk you personally feel.
Well, we have to wear a mask. I wear a face shield every day. Other people wear their eye protection.
So you potentially have 3 different protectors or only 2?
Well, we of course have to wear gloves, and we also have lab coats.
Right.
Our patients, we are screening, as well as us, before we come into the building. We have to wear a mask when we come in. Our patients get screened at the door. Temperature, ask common questions. They are always wearing a mask when they come in the building. We've even had to like separate their times for them to come later on instead of coming and sitting there, everybody socializing in the waiting room.
Like to comply with social
A lot of
distance.
people, actually, our patients have been sitting out in their cars and we just run outside and wait with them like, come on in, we're ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very scary thing for all of us, especially our patients, I think. Thank God most of them, all of them, hopefully have been hunkering down. We have had no cases at our dialysis center.
That's very good. That's very lucky.
It's relieving because thank God we live in Wisconsin.
How big is the city? Like, what's your city size like? Would do you have any idea how the population of your city?
Isn't it 68?
So 68,000 roughly, and no cases yet in that city. So one thing that we have been lucky about in Wisconsin is even in some of our more crowded areas, the cases are not exploding. Like, we are spread out more here. So we do have cases, but they're not extreme here. And we are able to distance ourselves a lot more than a lot of the people in these much, much bigger cities.
Well, in Milwaukee and Madison, they've been hit higher, of course. We're in Eau Claire right now. I live in La Crosse, Wisconsin. But thankfully, though, we have all been safe. It's been a learning experience for all of us. We have changed so many standards of practice and what we will do if we do have a positive test. We have an isolation room, keep those rooms open, so now we can't even use those dialyzer machines because we have to have it on backup just in case.
That's crazy too. Like, so does that cause a potential dangerous situation then, having to have those on backup?
No.
Or do you always have them on backup?
Well, we have a separate room for these patients if they do test positive.
But you're saying that those are only there, you can't use them for anything except positive patients though?
No, that's not right.
Oh, okay.
If something happens to the machine, we can pull that machine and bring it over.
Okay.
But we just have an isolation room that we keep in separate right now for positive patients. We have our dialysis center sectioned off in pods, and we actually do have each section, we can put a positive patient in those pods.
Right.
But the thing is, though, is if we do have a positive patient, we can't just send them to the hospital to get dialyzed. Mm-hmm. As much as we would like to, they still have to come and live their life and be dialyzed.
So you're working in a specific dialysis clinic?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
You're not attached to a hospital or
correct.
anything.
We're not acute. This is an outpatient dialysis center. So we do, my patients are my family, my coworkers are my family. We're all very close. So when this all hit, it was very surreal and worrisome. But thank God, we've all been safe. We've all done what we needed to do. And hopefully it stays that way, especially with everything opening up in Wisconsin.
It has been very scary and interesting, for lack of a better word, because with you in medical and me working more from home and things, we have a pretty different view and perspective of what goes on too, and sometimes it causes us to clash with our views. So unfortunately, because we all see this so differently, it's hard to
it's hard to relate.
Really, right, and there's really no, I feel like there's no like right or wrong either though, because we're all coming from such a different place with it. And even in your city, your own city, you're seeing much different perspectives just city to city.
Oh yeah, compared to like Eau Claire. La Crosse, Wisconsin is filled with bars.
What's like the closest city that you feel that has had cases that could impact your dialysis center, like miles-wise?
Winona, Minnesota. They have, which is only 45, 50 minutes away from me. I have best friends that live there. Their cases are through the roof because of nursing homes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Infection control is hard to obtain when you're at a nursing home and people are living, same people are taking care of them over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's hard to control that. But the crazy thing right now is how 2 weeks ago now everything just opened up. People flocked to the bars. Like,
so with that, like everything opening up and people really seeming to be running out to go to bars and go to places, especially here in Wisconsin, what you see in the front lines, you see what's going on. What is your advice for people? Like, how can they make sure to stay safe if they're gonna make a decision to go to a bar, to go out? Because a lot of people are, but maybe just need a couple of pointers and advice on how to stay safe while they're out there.
Well, I definitely would not go to a bar yet. As much as I want to. I mean, I'm a Wisconsinite. I'm not going to go quite yet.
Right, and I definitely understand, but what if you do find yourself there? What can you do to stay safe in a not such sanitary environment as a bar or a place like that?
Keep your distance. Wash your hands. Be aware of the people you're around. You know when people take care of themselves or they don't take care of themselves.
Right, be very vigilant on paying attention to who you're around is very important with this, I believe. Like, stay around people who are taking good care of themselves.
Wear a mask.
Would you recommend carrying sanitizer in your pocket?
Of course.
Like a small pocket one or something, just to have it on you all the time?
Yeah, just be aware of when you pull things out, too, though. You can't just be touching everything and then I'm going to whip out my hand sanitizer out of my pocket.
Right.
Buy my ID and my keys. I mean, I think we all know the standard of practice for washing your hands and all that by now.
Right.
6 feet.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're so close. So, we are getting down closer to the final third here. It's still open. The burn actually has turned it's almost closer to a razor sharp burn now that it's down closer to the final third.
I actually have to fix my burn right now. But you're doing too much talking.
The pepper is there now, but it's more subtle at this point. The richness is mostly gone. The chocolate's definitely still there going into the final third. The earth is still there. Leather is still there. And there was we both noticed a subtle creaminess a little before the halfway point, but I didn't last very long. I feel like it came and went fairly quickly. Are you still getting any of that creaminess?
I do on the retrohale.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still noticing it that way?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It's not as strong. But I'm now starting to get to the pepper.
Okay. So
I would say you say black pepper. I think it's more of a white pepper.
To me, it hits my palate like a black pepper. Like I feel like I have a weird palate for pepper though. For some reason, it really hits my palate hard with the peppers. I have a hard time smoking a cigar if it becomes too peppery. I can't enjoy it at all at that point. So you are you're noticing pepper.
Mm-hmm. Especially on that retrohale thing. But I would say more of a white pepper compared to a black pepper.
Okay.
But I'm still getting espresso.
See, and that's one thing I'm not fully noticing really is that
the sweetness is kind of subsided.
Right.
But that's what's fun, like smoking. Everybody's palate is different.
To me, it's more of a chocolate earth with pepper.
Dirt, kind of.
Sort of. It's not like that gritty earth, though. Like, some of them have a very gritty earth. This is more like... It reminds me kind of like you said in the beginning with that barnyard aroma. That almost reminds me of that, like, note, like in a flavor almost. Like, it's not gritty, but it's earth. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a wet earth almost.
Yep.
Like, it would be...
I understand what you're saying on that.
But we're getting into the final third. We're going to go ahead and get a little further in, take another little break, come back with some final thoughts, and let you know how this finishes. Alright, we have made it to the final third of this cigar. The pepper has definitely kicked it up a notch for me. The richness is completely gone. The chocolate is fading out. It's very subtle but still there, but it is fading. There's still the leather, the earth, but for me right now the main note is the pepper coming through towards the final third here. How about you? What is it tasting like for you towards the end?
Leather, earth, pepper. I'm still getting that little bit of an espresso.
Right.
But
I actually think I'm noticing a little more espresso now that you say that than I was earlier. On. For some reason, I keep grabbing her drink. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
He's drinking a matcha, so it scared him the first time he grabbed it.
Cold to warm. But the jaw's still open.
Oh,
it's still
beautiful.
burning very well, razor sharp all the way through. I would recommend this smoke to beginners and seasoned smokers. I think anybody would be able to appreciate, just from the beginning, the richness to the it actually transitions very noticeably. A lot of cigars are really subtle in their transitions, but this one, it opens really rich and it slowly transitions and the richness fades and it goes more into a pepper, leathery, earthy cigar than your rich chocolate, earth, and coffee. She was picking up the coffee, and I'm sure a lot of you will too. So I think it's actually a great cigar for a beginner because it'll help you understand transition.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
A lot of them are much harder to notice, and you may not quite pick it up, and you may not have the same experience you would with noticing the transitions more.
Well, and if you're trying to like figure out how cigars transition and stuff like that, understand first, second, and third, I think it's good to actually even smoke the cigar twice in a row. Even if you like smoke a cigar the same brand, see how they correlate. Other My Fathers, like try the La Opalencia. Is that how you say it?
What?
The La Opalencia.
Oh yeah, Opalencia, yeah.
Thank you. That's a totally different cigar.
Yeah.
Compared
and
to
that's
this.
Usually box pressed as well. That
yeah, but it still has that like Garcia taste to it, with that you find in all My Fathers.
I agree. In that La Opalencia, you're gonna find almost the same price point as well. It may be $1 or $2 cheaper, but it's still gonna run that, you know, $8.99, $9.99 to $13.99 area in there somewhere.
Well, and that cigar is more herbal, I feel like. But we're not doing a review on that cigar
Right, that's very true. So, getting back into a little more discussion, do you think that more women would be interested in cigars if they were able to be introduced to cigars properly? And, you know, like with you, we went to the lounge and you had a lavender latte, and did you even... you didn't plan on having a cigar on the way there, did you? It wasn't until we were in the humidor room and you wanted to pick a cigar out, because I think when you walked in there, the smell and the way it was, you were kind of overtaken by it, and you realize that it is a very nice thing to be a part of.
It's a lot to take in.
Right. Yes.
Your first time at a humidor.
New humidors are a lot to take in, especially your first humidor, yes.
Right. So I just had you pick out something. I was just like, pick me out something, fine, I'll smoke one.
Lavender latte and an acid blondie.
And I think that was like the best way for me to be introduced to a cigar. I actually smoked Newport shorts. And smoking Newports and then trying cigars, I actually quit like right away with smoking cigarettes. It all depends on if a woman has smoked before or not, what they used to smoke.
That's true.
I think the Acid brand from Drew Estate, the Blondie, the Cuba, like those are really good beginner cigars.
Well, one nice thing about like the acids too is you can get the acids in much smaller cigars as well. You know, a lot of them don't offer a smaller version, but the acids you can really get in any size that's comfortable for you to try it.
Right, and they're more accessible too. You can find them at a gas station, Quick Trip.
Yeah, a lot of gas stations will have the acid cigars, which is interesting.
Right. Otherwise, I think Gurkha. What is it? The Ron Abuelo?
Yep, the rum, Ron Abuelo.
Or the bourbon for a new cigar smoker. Women and men. It just has that very rich, infused taste.
Right.
And they just smell amazing.
So what? I guess what do you think is a good way for women to get introduced to cigars if they were trying to find it on their own? Because like when I found cigars, I just happened to stumble upon a humidor at a place where I went a lot, and then I just started doing research. But I feel like that's not a lot of people's story.
Right.
So what do you think is a good way? Do you think that maybe following some social media, some other fellow social media people that smoke and trying to understand it more, or just going and picking one out, doing research? Like, what do you think?
Do your own research. Don't just go and pick out a cigar. I did that for my first non-infused cigar, and I hated it.
I remember that.
What was it?
It was
Macanudo.
Macanudo Cafe, I believe.
Not for me. Sorry. But yeah, definitely doing your own research, seeing what appeals to your eye. Don't just grab something though based off of looks. If something catches your eye, look it up. Read different reviews. Don't just read one, because everybody's palate is different. Not everybody picks up on everything the same.
Right. One little trick that I kind of go by with cigars that isn't necessarily always true, but it's true very often. Fancier bands and packages are meant to sell you a cigar. That doesn't mean it's good. Your better cigars are usually going to have a much simpler band. They're not going to be over the top, gorgeous type of thing. That's one way you can kind of tell. If you're buying like a $5 or $6 cigar that the band is just ridiculous, it might not be the best cigar that you're going to enjoy. So look at that too and just do your research. And that you can have a lot of fun. And one thing about cigars too is almost any note, any flavor that you like, you can find it in a cigar if you do research. If there's anything you're looking for, chocolates, cocos, infusions, different herbal notes, I mean, you can find anything in a cigar almost that you would like. So that's another way, is just look for stuff you like and know what you want in notes in a cigar. And that'll make it a lot easier for you too. And also don't start with too full body of cigars.
Oh yeah.
Like beginning cigar smoking, you want to go with more light to medium stuff. Full body cigars, some of them can be incredibly strong. Even I have issues with some of the full body ones. They get strong. So just be aware of that too.
I like more full body cigars.
She does. I like to stick more medium. I do like some, but I'm more of a medium. I'm not a big light body person. More of a medium type. So with that, going on the same advice topic, just to kind of, what advice would you give men when they see women in a lounge? Like, you don't want to feel like an outlier. You know, what would you say that men could do to make women feel more welcomed and comfortable and not like an object in the lounge?
Stop staring.
And maybe like the way that you approach or talk to women,
right.
Like understand that
what
they
cigar
probably,
is that you're smoking?
right.
You know, like
they might know more than you. I know Brooke probably knows more than me about cigars at the end of the day. Like in reality, if we really were to go through it, I know a lot, but she knows a lot. She's done her research and been a part of cigars for a long time now. She got into it very heavily. So don't assume that people don't know, because they're there for a reason. Like, they're not just there for their husbands or whatever. Like,
ask questions. Like, find out what people like to smoke. You know, you see a cigar that you don't typically smoke or see, ask them what it is.
right, and you'll get a lot farther being respectful than talking down to people,
right,
and making them feel belittled or like an outlier because they're different from everybody else in the lounge or in the humidor room or wherever you are.
Cigars are all about taking time too. That's the one thing that I love about cigars and that you taught me is like, take time, slow down. This is meant for relaxation.
Right.
I mean, that's how I like to start my days. A cigar and coffee. Go for a walk. It's, it's meditation for me.
It is.
I do my best thinking when I'm smoking a stove.
Right. Well, and cigar is reflection time. Like, you can't quickly have a cigar. You can't. A cigar is going to take time to smoke, whether you like it or not. You can sit there and try to puff it, but if you can't enjoy it, there's no point in smoking it.
Right.
So, that is reflection time for you to think about your life and go over things and sort things out and how to move forward with your own life. So,
well, like cigarillos, so those are kind of a quick smoke for people. I like them, and I don't tend to like take, you know, I don't want just like 20-30 minutes for a cigar.
mm-hmm.
I like to smoke my cigars all the way through. I will put them out and then smoke it halfway. But some cigars just aren't the best to relight. You lose a lot of that natural transition flavor with everything.
Right.
But some cigars you can just relight and go at it again. But I'm the type of person that I usually just smoke my cigars straight through. You'll leave yours and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Even if I have like the last third, he's like, are you going to smoke that?
We are a little different that way. So, alright, with that, if you had to pick one cigar for a year, what would your choice be? Only one type, one brand, 365 days.
That's hard.
No, it's not.
It's very hard.
You gotta know that what yours is. For
what
me,
about a brand?
It's the Arturo Fuente Don Carlos.
I knew you were going to
Every
say
day
that.
for 360, I can do it every day. I love that cigar.
It's a great cigar.
So what's not a brand, just there's one cigar.
I want to choose
You're going to a desert island. When you get there, there'll be all these boxes of one type of cigar.
That'd be heaven. I'd be
well,
so
which
tan.
one would it be? What would make it heaven?
Honestly, it's so hard though.
It's hard, but there's got to be something there. You're not just going to let them randomly pick. They might send you some Swisher Sweets.
Well, that could be good depending on what's growing on that island.
Choose, otherwise get Swishers.
Oh, I would have to say Dapper, Cubo, La Madrina. Both of them.
No. The
I would have to say
or
Cubo.
The La Madrina.
Just because the La Madrina is a little bit more full body compared to the Cubo. But yes, Dapper Cubo.
Dapper Cubo is your desert island for a year cigar.
Oh man, yeah, I would have to say that.
Awesome. So,
yeah.
Overall, I give this cigar an 8 out of 10. What are you saying?
I would say an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yeah.
So we are...
It's like 8.5.
Basically past the final third. The cigar is getting very, very peppery. It's getting very peppery on this when it's finishing here. The richness is totally gone. The leather's still there. I think the chocolate's completely gone. I'm not getting any coffee. Little leather, a little earth, and a lot of pepper in the finish here. How's it finishing for you? Are you feeling the same way? There's no
ash on
creaminess. Don't worry, we all do that sometimes. The ash falls once in a while.
I would say leather. I don't get much of a pepper compared to you.
I get that pepper.
I know
strong.
you do. I'm still getting that earth, leather, just a hint of pepper. I don't know if it's my latte that's covering it up for me right now because
it could be the sweetness, maybe.
I don't have my water, but definitely earth. It's just good. It's good all the way throughout.
It's been a good cigar.
The draw's
sure.
perfect.
It's definitely very open. The burn's been good. Overall, it transitions amazing. The notes, there's nothing wrong. The only issue I have is just that little strong pepper kick. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but overall, it's a great cigar. I still give it an 8 out of 10 and recommend it to anybody who likes cigars. Beginners and seasoned smokers, definitely get this cigar.
To my father, it's gonna be good.
So guys, we had a lot of fun. This was a great conversation. You got to meet Brooke. This is my girlfriend Brooke. So please like and subscribe. We have a lot more things coming. We're going to do giveaways in the future. Take care, y'all. Bijou. Bijou. Bijou.
Bijou.
Les Bijou.
Les Bijou.
Les Bijou. Oh, look at, there's a video going. Les Bijou.